What if I told you the world's richest people aren't buying paintings because they love art? They're buying them because paintings are legally one of the best ways to hide money in plain sight. Every year, billionaires pour hundreds of millions of dollars into canvases that most of them will never even hang on a wall. And the reason isn't taste. It's a loophole so powerful that governments have spent decades trying to close it and failed. Once you understand how this machine works, you'll never look at an art auction the same way again. Here's why this matters. Unlike stocks or real estate, a painting has no fixed value. Its price is simply whatever two people in a room agree it's worth. And that single fact turns every canvas into a financial instrument. With almost no oversight, there's no public ledger, no regulator checking whether the price actually makes sense. And that's exactly what makes it so useful for people who need to move enormous amounts of money quietly. It all starts small. Imagine a hedge fund manager buying a Basquiat, not for the living room, but to store it inside something called a free port. A free port is a tax-free warehouse that exists in a kind of legal limbo between countries. The painting technically never arrives anywhere, which means no import tax, no sales tax, sometimes for decades. The Geneva Free Port alone is estimated to hold more than 1 million works of art. That's more than many of the world's largest museums combined, and most of those artworks have never been seen by a single visitor. Then the strategy grows. That same painting is used as collateral for a bank loan. The owner unlocks tens of millions of dollars in cash without ever selling the artwork, which means no taxable sale, because the painting is still legally considered art, not income. That borrowed money can be invested, spent, or moved somewhere else, all without triggering capital gains tax. Then it goes even further. Some paintings are donated to museums using appraised values that are far higher than what the owner originally paid. In some cases, the appraiser is even hired by the same donor requesting the valuation. That allows the owner to claim a tax deduction worth far more than the original purchase price. Meanwhile, the museum quietly stores the painting in a back room or a climate-controlled vault, never displaying it to the public it was supposedly donated for. And it doesn't stop there. Entire investment funds now exist just to buy and hold artwork. Think of them like hedge funds, but instead of owning stocks, they own paintings. Million-dollar canvases are divided into investment shares that wealthy investors can trade privately. A single Picasso can effectively become a financial security, yet those transactions often don't have to be reported the same way stock trades do. But here's the twist that almost nobody talks about. Some auction houses have been caught using something called chandelier bidding. That's when an auctioneer announces bids from empty seats or from phone lines that were never connected to a real buyer. The purpose is simple: artificially push the final sale price higher. Once that inflated number becomes public, it instantly becomes the new benchmark for that artist's work. And overnight, every collector holding similar paintings suddenly owns assets that appear to be worth much more. Even though not a single brushstroke has changed, then things become even more extreme. In many countries, art sales require little or no proof of who the real buyer actually is. There's often no verification of where the money came from, and sometimes no reporting to financial authorities. That means anonymous shell companies can buy a painting with cash, resell it privately a few months later, and walk away with money that is now far harder to trace. If that same money had moved through a normal bank account, it would likely have triggered anti-money laundering checks almost immediately. That's one reason the United States Treasury Department has identified the art market as one of the world's largest unregulated channels for money laundering, alongside real estate and shell companies. Even more disturbing, some shell companies connected to sanctioned individuals have reportedly used artwork as a workaround after bank accounts, yachts, or properties were frozen. A painting sitting quietly inside a Swiss free port doesn't appear on a sanctions list. It doesn't need a bank to move. And it can later be sold in another country under a completely different holding company. So when you see a painting sell for $200 million at a headline-making auction, you're probably not just watching someone buy art. You're watching the final visible step of a process that may have started years earlier inside a tax-free warehouse, continued through a private bank loan, passed through a museum donation that few people questioned, and perhaps even involved an auction room where some of the bids weren't real. So the next time you see a headline about a record-breaking art sale, remember this: you may not be watching an art sale at all. You may be watching one of the most sophisticated tax and wealth-hiding machines ever created, quietly resetting its own price tag in front of everyone, completely legally.